Let's also go across for all the latest developments to our correspondent Nagain Singh, who is currently reporting from the residence of Sushma Swaraj. I'm also joined in by India's former ambassador to Afghanistan, Mr. Vivek Karju. We'll go to Mr. Vivek Karju also, but to begin with, let me quickly go across to Nagain for all the latest developments. Nagain, when can we expect the cremation to take place?
Well, at the moment, just few minutes ago, a vehicle which arrived, and that will be decorated and that will be used for the last rite. And first, the body will be taken to the BJP headquarters, and there most of the dignitaries and the political leaders, they will be arriving there to pay their last respect. So the body should reach there around 11 o'clock, and till 3 p.m. The mortal remains will be kept there for the last homage that will be paid to her. And after that, the mortal remains will move to the cremation ground in Lodi Road, and there the last rite will take place. And the political leaders who have been arriving here, there is a long list of the people who have been arriving here. And of course, on Twitter, most of the world leaders, they have been writing their condolence messages and they're paying their last respect to her. Hamid Karzai, the former president from Afghanistan, he has also tweeted about it. He wrote about it. The ambassador of France in India has also written about it, and he also paid his last respect with his tweet. And from the Bahrain also, we are getting the news that the Foreign Affairs Minister has also tweeted, and he has written the condolence message, and he shared his experience of working with her. So everyone who has worked with her is, of course, going to remember her, and the people to whom she was very much approachable, they are really going to miss her, because this was the reason that she was very popular among the citizens of India.
Nagain, as you rightly mentioned, that there are reactions pouring in from the international community. As we can see, her mortal remains have already arrived at her residence. There are politicians who have thronged her venue. There are politicians from across party lines. Do run us through all those politicians who've just turned up to pay their last respect.
The politicians who have arrived here, there is a long list of it. Early morning, BSP Supremo Mayawati came here. Now we have Tarun Vijay, one of the BJP leaders and former Rajya Sabha member. He was also here. Swami Agnivesh also arrived here. And we are expecting that more and more leaders will be coming in over here. And especially at the BJP headquarters, we are going to see a massive number of people arriving over there to pay the last respect, because from there the last rite will continue, and it will reach to the cremation ground. So we are expecting that BJP has arranged everything at the headquarters, and from there everything is going to take place. The last rite will begin from there. It will be not from the house, because from here the body will be taken to the BJP headquarters.
All right.
And
so
if we talk about the international politicians,
all right, Nagain, so as you rightly mentioned, in just a few hours from now, we can expect the last rites of Sushma Swaraj to be performed, and we will keep coming back to you for more details as you track the latest developments. Let's also go across to Ambassador Karju, who is joining us at this moment on this broadcast. Ambassador, Sushma Swaraj, a stateswoman extraordinaire, a diplomat par excellence. How would you remember Sushma Swaraj?
Well, at the moment there is great grief, and I share that grief because I too had occasion to interact with her on a number of times on different issues. I think she was in the Atal Bihari Vajpayee tradition of Indian politics, very firm in her beliefs, very efficient, very competent, with enormous qualities of head and heart, but open and affable, and there was nothing petty about her. Therefore she had friends all across the spectrum, and they responded to her with openness too, and therefore that is a quality that she displayed in her public life, all through her public life, which I think will be long remembered, and which should be her, in a manner of speaking, her legacy for others to emulate. that politics, as I think one political leader said, is not about enemies. There may be adversaries, but certainly in the national cause, everyone is together. And that, I think, will be how she will be remembered and how she should be remembered. She brought, many people are saying, and correctly, that she brought a human touch or added a human touch to the conduct of Indian diplomacy, to how a diplomat should approach issues concerning people, both here and abroad. And there again, it was this Atal Bihari tradition that there should be accessibility in public life.
Right, very rightly said. She's somebody who was from Atal Bihari Vajpayee's school of thought, where she believed that there should be accessibility in public life, somebody who was extremely affable. Some very interesting points shared by you, Ambassador. Also, how would you look at her tenure during diplomacy, which was often accompanied by the catchphrase of fast-track diplomacy?
Look, I think the public face of that diplomacy is well known. She took special interest in the welfare of Indians abroad, in the welfare of all peoples. I think whenever someone approached her, even directly, for, say, a visa in case of a medical emergency or for any other emergency, her response was immediate. And that is something that she imparted to all diplomats who worked under her stewardship. But I think what is not generally focused is the role she played behind the scenes in the formulation of Indian foreign policy. It is true that all Indian prime ministers, as indeed heads of government all over the world, take a special interest in the conduct of foreign policy, and they are the ultimate decision makers. But I think they seldom act entirely alone. They also consult widely. And in this case too, on whenever important decisions were taken, the Prime Minister, Mr. Modi, would be the public face. But she was certainly part of the consultative process, and her views were heard with great respect. I'm confident.
Right.
One other sentence, if you permit me to add, Akanksha.
Yes, sir.
She had enormous powers of synthesizing different views. She could be in a room here for an hour and a half or 2 hours, hear all kinds of views across the spectrum on an issue, but at the end of that meeting, she could distill that, synthesizing it into either action points or reconciling different views in a remarkable way. And that showed great intellectual prowess.
All right, great intellectual prowess. Some very interesting points made by Ambassador over there. Ambassador, would there be any policy initiatives that you would attribute to Sushma Swaraj?
I think behind the scenes, and I'm stressing this, behind the scenes, she played a role in the formulation of India's neighborhood policy. She was there advising the Prime Minister in how to proceed, and I think the Prime Minister valued her advice very much. And therefore, when required, and this is again the attribute of a very good political leader, that she was a player who played with her team and adjusted her public persona in accordance with the requirement of the leadership of the party or the leadership of the government that she served. So there again, it was, her pursuit of the national interest, that when her public persona was required to be projected, as I think she projected it in an exceedingly memorable manner when she addressed in Abu Dhabi the OIC foreign ministers meeting. That was an amazing performance, the way she conducted herself in that meeting, what she spoke, and I think Navdeep Suri has tweeted, who's our ambassador in Abu Dhabi, has tweeted an account of how she worked. She reached there at midnight and worked immediately, even though she knew that that was at the cost of her health, because we know that from 2016 she'd been, her health had been indifferent or she'd suffered setbacks, but that did not deter her when her public duty was to be performed. That too is a great quality of public service.
That's a very fair point you've made, Ambassador. OIC was one platform where she left an indelible impact as far as her representation of India is concerned. And despite her fragile health, she worked tirelessly. And speaking of Sushma Swaraj's contribution to foreign policy,